Hello, today I am here at horseback riding lessons for my daughter. She's doing a makeup lesson because she was sick, and there was a rain day as well, so she gets to go twice this week. And I am wearing my Montagna shawl. This is my own pattern, and this is actually a fingering weight version. The pattern is actually written for a worsted weight yarn, but it has these nice pinstripes and some lace, and it's a big triangular shawl. This is actually giving me inspiration for what I'm going to do while I'm here. But first, I wanted to show you one of my finished objects. That's a gift knit. I don't think I've shown this here on my channel at all, and it's already complete, so yeah. This is a shopping bag, or like a market bag type thing. It looks kind of small, but it stretches a good bit, and it has a nice wide, I want to say collar, but that's not it, handle there. So it can go over your shoulder, and I will put up a couple of pictures here because you can actually fit a good amount in here. I put like a whole bag of oranges in it, and it was sturdy enough to hold it, but it stretches big enough, which is kind of nice for it to be small, so you can bunch it up, but then when you go to market, you can stretch it out, which is exciting. Sorry, I got interrupted. So anyways, it's extremely stretchy because it's like a lattice work type pattern here. And I used stash yarn that I had. I used some of this, it's like a sport weight yarn, or a DK, kind of a sport weight. And then I ran out of it. And then I found this in my stash. Both of these are like from Joann Fabrics, and they're wool and nylon mixture. So yeah, it was an enjoyable knit, and it was very quick. I feel like it was maybe 2 evenings at most. So the yarns don't quite go together, but for some reason I feel like they work. So it starts with this, it's a free pattern, by the way. It starts with this rectangle on the bottom, and then you pick up stitches along the 2 sides and along your cast on edge, and then you knit in the round until you do your handle, and then you kind of like you're splitting for sleeves in a sweater or something. You bind off both of these sections, and yeah, you knit the handle, and then it's like a 3 needle bind off to connect the handle. So I like it. It's very cute and very functional, and I think that my my family member will enjoy it. All right. So the other thing I'm doing today is, and the biggest thing I'm doing today is I've decided to design another shawl for that yarn. So I have worsted weight yarn that I just dyed up. If you watched yesterday's podcast, and it is a nice deep like emeraldy green and bluish green. My camera needs to be adjusted here. And I've been debating about whether to just find a pattern or possibly just knit this pattern. I was debating about that, but with, I don't know, I think this would work fine. However, with the lace and all, I feel like it might be not as quick of a knit as I'm going for. Since this is a gift knit and it's December, I am looking for a quick shawl. So, after a quick glance on Ravelry and Love Knitting, I didn't find anything I really liked. So, well, that's not entirely true. I didn't fall in love with anything, I guess you could say. Nothing compelled me to buy it or get it. So I just decided to make my own. I think I am going to do a triangular shawl similar to this, I think. I am using the Vogue Knitting, the Ultimate Knitting book here. This has like a bunch of different ways on how to like start a shawl or how to construct a shawl, let me put it that way. So it doesn't give you the details instruction for making the entire shawl, but it will give you the general idea of how to construct it. So as you can see there, like those are 2 triangular shawls, or 3 actually. One starts at the long side, another starts at the point, the other one's asymmetric. So there's a bunch of different ways. There's of course there's a bunch of different shawl constructions and many different ways to make different types of shawls. Like these are cool too. So it just tells you how to do that. So I have to figure out exactly how I want to do this. I'm thinking maybe a crescent shawl or a triangular shawl like I have here, like I just said. And I think I'm going to do a good amount of garter in it because I don't want it super complicated. I want it to be kind of an easy, mindless evening knit, and I'm making out of worsted yarn so it can be fairly quick. And then I have Alice Starmore's book of Feral Knitting that has lots of good inspiration for some color work patterns. So I'm thinking about doing a fairly simple color work pattern on the border, or possibly kind of like I have here. I have bands that kind of repeat throughout the shawl, and I might do a little bit of color work sections within the shawl that kind of stripe in the shawl. Yeah, so I'm going to sit here with my graph paper and try to figure something out. So my colors are going to be the deep green and some like dusty pink. I think that will work. Her favorite colors are green and pink and red, but I don't want it to look Christmassy, so I think I'm just going to go with green and pink. So I don't want the pink to be, I don't want there to be a lot of pink. I want it to be primarily green, which is kind of some little pops of pink in there. That's my plan. Kind of like this one is primarily pink with just a little bit of blue. I want to kind of have the reverse. Have a deep shawl or a green shawl with pops of pink. So that's what I'm going to do for now. And yeah, I haven't used this book yet. I got it for maybe Christmas last year, and it has a lot of good patterns and ideas in it, and I haven't really taken a lot of time to work through it, but it has a lot of good history as well. So, and stuff, and lots of ideas. So we'll see how this goes. Hopefully it'll go well. Wish me luck. So I've been experimenting, writing lots of good stuff down, and I think I've decided instead of a triangular shawl to do I think it's called like a pharaoh shawl. That's probably not pronounced correctly, but it has, instead of like a point here, it's got increases here and here. So it's kind of a mix between a triangular shawl and like a crescent shawl. Anyways, I was experimenting some with this yarn, which is not the yarn I'm going to use, but it's what I had in the car, just to experiment with the shape. So, yeah. Alright, well that's exciting. I'm winding up the green that I dyed so that I can start the shawl. I'm antsy to start it.